23 million low-income households are at risk of losing discounted cell phone, home phone, and internet service because the Affordable Connectivity Program, which is called the ACP Program, is at risk of being shut down in the next few weeks if Congress does not fund the program. The FCC, which runs the program, has issued a wind-down schedule on dates when the program will be shut down. So if you are on the ACP program, if you are receiving the $30 a month towards your phone bill, your internet service, or your home phone, then you need to pay attention to this. So let me jump into what I am going to talk about today about this important breaking news. Well, the ACP program has been available and has helped over 23 million households afford home phone and internet service. And now Congress is at risk of letting this program expire, which is going to cause a lot of financial problems for those who have depended on this program for affordable home and internet service. So the FCC, the Federal Communication Commission, has issued a warning that the millions of households in the United States are at risk of losing discounts on their internet bills unless Congress acts to extend the ACP program. The ACP, launched in 2021, aimed to provide financial relief to low-income households by offering discounts up to $30 a month on internet bills, with higher discounts of up to $75 a month for qualifying tribal lands. The FCC has stated that the $14.2 billion allocated by Congress for the ACP program is running out in April. Without additional funding, the FCC plans to start winding down the program this week. The ACP is regarded by the FCC as the largest internet affordability program in the country, having assisted approximately 23 million low-income households. The FCC chair, Jessica Rosenwasel, has sent letters to congressional leaders dated Monday seeking $6 billion to continue the ACP program through the end of 2024. In the letters, she emphasized the significant progress made by providing with the program in closing the digital divide, and warns that without additional funding, this program will be lost. Senator Maria Caldwell of Washington, chair of the Senate Commerce Committee, expressed support for the ACP, stating that the 330,000 people in Washington state rely on the program for their internet access. She indicated her willingness to support any presidential request for additional funding for the program. The ACP was initially introduced as a short-term pandemic measure to provide monthly discounts up to $50 on internet bills for low-income households. The program gained popularity as remote work and online learning became more prevalent during the pandemic. Following the conclusion of the Emergency Broadband Benefit, which was the program before, which was called the EBB in 2021, the ACP replaced it, offering similar but smaller discounts. It's worth noting that the ACP eligibility criteria include households below 200% of the federal poverty line, which is about $60,000 for a family of four, and those meeting other criteria such as those participating in SNAP, WIC, and Medicaid. So if you were on SNAP, you were automatically eligible. If you were on WIC and if you were on Medicaid, you were automatically eligible for the ACP program. The Biden administration has made universal access to high-speed internet by 2030 a policy priority, with various measures in place to ensure affordable and non-discriminatory based on income, race, or other factors. In addition to the ACP, the administration announced $42 billion in new funding in June to expand high-speed internet access nationwide, aiming to address the approximately 7% of the country that still lacks broadband internet access to meet the government standards. So, what does the future of the ACP hold? Well, according to the FCC, beginning February 7th, they will no longer accept new enrollments in the Affordable Connectivity Program unless Congress votes to provide additional funding. The FCC has detailed ACP wind-down plans, reiterating that without additional funding, April will be the final month. They've also released a timeline, which I'm going to talk about in a second, detailing other plans and requirement for potential shutdown. Among other plans, other things, broadband providers, those who are offering the service right now, have until January 25th, less than 2 weeks from today, to inform participants of the wind down. So if you are on ACP, you're going to get a letter from your service provider that this program is going to wind down. this will be the first of 3 notices that providers will be required to send about the program. We've provided the schedule of the ACP wind down on the next slide. So this is what it's going to look like. So basically on January 25th, this is the deadline for the first of 3 required provider notices. So you're going to get a letter from your ACP provider, which must be provided no later than 14 days after the release of this order. And then on February 7th, the final day of households to enroll in the program, the Bureau and the USAC will stop reviewing new provider applications and election notices, as well as applications for alternative verification. So after February 7th, no more applications will be taken. And then on February 8th, ACP enrollment freeze begins and no new providers will be approved to participate in the program. And then in late February 2024, they anticipate that the last of the funding will be provided, and then that will be it. On April 1st, participating providers must submit their reimbursement claims to the USAC, which runs the program, and then April 2024, projected final services of the ACP program can finally be reimbursed. And then in May, there'll be partial provider claims for discounted service. So as you can see, everything is winding down, and this is for real. The FCC is not playing around. They are releasing this schedule to prepare everybody to make sure that if Congress does not step in, then this program will be gone. So what are the chances? Well, let's look at what the FCC has to say. The FCC has outlined a 15-page order detailing the wind-down process. According to this order, providers must send a second notice to ACP participants within 15 days of the announcement. The third notice is expected to conclude with the last bill. So you're going to get your last bill with the third notice, and then you're going to know when the program will officially have to wind down. So if you like what you're hearing so far, I want to encourage you to hit the like button so that this important video will be shared with more people, because there are 23 million people that are on ACP right now that need to know about this. And if you're new to this channel, I want to urge you to hit the subscribe button. We really, really, really appreciate your support. So let's jump right into what is happening with ACP. So is it possible that the ACP will receive funds it needs to continue? Well, in fact, the FCC's ACP wind-down plan came just one day after bipartisan legislation was introduced in the Senate that will make the $7 billion available. Now, the question is, it's been made available in the negotiation. Will it pass? If it's passed, the money will enable the FCC to extend the program through the end of the year. So this only goes through to the end of the year, eliminating the need for the wind down. However, even though the funding will continue the program in the short term, it does not guarantee the long-term continuation of the discounted internet program for low income. The additional funding will only guarantee the discount through 2024. So we have a 2-part process here. The wind down is anticipation that the money will not come in. But then there's negotiation in Congress to put $7 billion in the program. So it depends on that legislation passing both houses of Congress. The bipartisan legislation introduced in the Senate and the House aims to provide $7 billion. Last year, President Biden requested an additional $6 billion to extend the program through 2024. However, Congress did not fulfill that request. The bipartisan legislation sponsored by senators and representatives seeks to prevent service providers from facing revenue hits and addresses the concerns that the success of the $42.5 billion BEAD rural broadband deployment program may be affected if the ACP is not sustained. So the ACP success is also a part of a broader program by the administration to expand broadband access to needy families. So what happens if the funding does not get extended? Well, the program shuts down. Those enrolled would no longer receive discount. This means that you're going to pay full price for internet or phone service. Not having internet access can also cripple a household. In today's digital world, dozens of aspects of our daily life require internet connectivity. Access to high-speed internet isn't a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. That is why it's never been so important to avoid this funding cliff and extend the ACP. That's what Peter Welch of Vermont, Senator Welch, or one of the bill's leaders, said in a statement. How does the expiration of the ACP impact low-income households? Well, this is a quote directly from the FCC spokesperson. Many of us can't quite understand the impact of how the $30 makes for families who's working full-time and still isn't able to make ends meet. $30 is a choice between a tank of gas, school supplies, medication, and your internet bill. And that's a choice that we've helped a lot of families avoid for a long time. So this is actually giving some background to people who really don't understand how important this is to the families that depend on this help, how this program is so crucial for their finances and the ability to access this important program. About half of all eligible households, 22.2 million, receive a $30 monthly benefit, while 308,000 households living on tribal lands get $75 a month. That's around half of all eligible households nationwide. About 19% of all broadband subscriptions in the U.S. use the subsidy. That's a huge deal, with Louisiana, Kentucky, and Ohio enrolling at the highest rates. Enrollment has also been higher than expected in areas with higher Black and Hispanic populations. So how likely is the extension going to happen? Well, despite garnering public support, with recent polling about 79% of voters in favor, the Affordable Connectivity Act faces pessimism among analysts regarding an extension, primarily due to political budget consideration. Blair Levin, a former FCC chief of staff and telecom industry analyst at New Street Research, expressed skepticism, stating, "It is more likely than not that it goes away, and it has nothing to do with the ACP. It has to do with politics of budget." Republican lawmakers aiming to show fiscal restraint argue that the ACP doesn't effectively connect those without internet access, making the prospect of refunding very challenging. Potential modifications. This program could be modified. Proponents of the program counter with this argument, asserting that most significant barrier to internet access is affordability. Christopher Ali, a professor of telecommunication at Penn State, highlighted the connection between the digital divide and inequality, stating that the digital divide is fundamentally tied to inequality. We often think that it's an infrastructure issue, which is the case in rural and remote and indigenous areas, but the reason most people don't have internet is price. And despite these challenges, there's a ray of hope that the ACP will be given, a new life, given the widespread popularity. So the ACP, which allocates funds mostly evenly across Democratic and Republican House districts, remain open to discussion and potential modification to extend its duration. So, what do you think about the ACP going away? Are you currently enrolled in the program? Are you getting monthly subsidy for your phone or home internet or phone service? And what is this going to do for you or to your monthly financial budget if the ACP program is taken away? I want to hear from you in the comment section below. This is so important because the more you guys stay silent, the more we stay silent on this, the more these things happen. So you want to make your voice heard about how this is going to impact, because it's those stories that are told online that make politicians pay attention. So let me know what you think about that. So here are other ways you can save money on the internet. While the ACP is the most significant resource out there for low-income households, there are a few other ways to reduce your internet bill. Number one is to check with your state resources. Some states also offer internet assistance program. Maryland, for example, offers $15 monthly discount for low-income household in addition to the ACP discount. And then some internet providers have low-income programs. Before the ACP was created, the main option for discounted internet was through the providers themselves, like AT&T, Cox, Spectrum, and Xfinity. The easiest way to see which providers are available in your area is to enter your address into the FCC broadband map. Number 3, sign up for the Lifeline program. Like the ACP, Lifeline is a federal program for low-income households. It provides $9.25 monthly discounts for phone, internet, and broadband service. It's been permanently funded since 1984, but the qualifications are a little more strict. Unlike the ACP, which is 200% of the federal poverty level in qualification, household income must be below 135 for the federal poverty guidelines. or you have to participate in SNAP, Medicaid, or other programs. Another way to save on internet is to avoid equipment rental fees. Generally, it costs $10 to $15 a month to rent a modem and router, but it can cost, occasionally, it can be about $20 plus. If you can afford an upfront investment, meaning buying your own modem or router, purchasing your own equipment can save you a lot of money, especially if you buy used equipment. You can get all the equipment you need for as little as $100, but you will need to make sure your modem is compatible with your internet provider. So that is all I have for you regarding the ACP program. I want to hear from you. If you like this video, please hit the like button so that it will be shown to more people. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. We appreciate your support. And until I see you in the next video, thank you for watching.